Hello, so in this video we are going to see how to create this bubble lava lamp effect style within Tooll3. So we will need two main operators. The first one is called steps and the second one is called fake light. Okay, so first I will need 2 points. I set line points, set the count to 2, and draw points. So let's see, let's pin draw points. I can hit P on the keyboard and we barely see something, so let's increase the size of the point. Now we have our 2 dots. I want to change the texture of the point, so I will need a radial gradient connected to draw points, and now we get this. And we have an issue, because here you see the radial gradient, the texture is, we have a perfect circle inside of a rectangle. And here we have 2 squares. So in order to fix this, we will set the resolution of radial gradient to a square value, to a square. So let's try 260/56, like this. Okay, so our first issue is fixed. So now if I reduce the size of my line, the 2 points are getting close together, and we have this issue. To fix this, I go to draw point and I deactivate enable Z right and also enable Z test, and I will set the blend mode to additive. So now our 2 dots are blending together. You see, it looks much better. Okay, I will use a render target. Let's pin the render target, we get this. And let's use this render target into steps. Let's pin steps, and now we get this. So let me increase the size of my dots. Maybe no, not 10, let's try 6. 6 is fine. Let's increase the size of the line. And you see, what we need is only, in the steps, we need only 2 steps. Because here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Here we have the count with 4, so I need only 2. And now we have only 2 steps. And we see the 2 dots are blending together in a weird way, because we have this thing here. And it's because of the linear interpolation of the radial gradient. So if I check this gradient, if I do a right click on gradient, I can change its interpolation, and I will choose smooth. And now we get this beautiful thing. Beautiful shape. So let's go back to steps. But I don't want those 2 light dots. And this is happening because of this option, repeat. So let's turn it off. And now it looks good. So once I've deactivated repeat, I still need to fix this edge parameter. So here, if I put everything to transparent, get rid of this. If I zoom in my texture, you can see we have this aliasing, and it's not beautiful. So see, it's too sharp. So here I will add a transparent value, color completely transparent, and this one I will set it to black. And now we have smoothed the edge of our shape, and we can control this smoothness like this. I like it to be sharp but also smooth. So now we have our smoothed step function. And what is interesting is when I change the length between the 2 points, we get this beautiful blending happening. So I can animate this, for example, with randomize points. And let's change the W value and animate the random seed with a time. And now we get something like this. But maybe we need more points, and not only on one line. So instead of line points, I will use grid points. I have too many, so I only need one on the z-axis, and I can scale it up. And my points are too big, so I need to go back to draw points and set back the value to 2. And now we have this interesting pattern, because only the W value is randomized by our randomized point. So we can randomize the position of the points on the x-axis and on the y-axis. And now we get this kind of lava lamp style effect. We can increase the W value to even more. I don't know how to say it. So now I can use it in fake light. I can use my render target into fake light and pin the fake light, and we get this. So you can change those colors, but those parameters are not, I don't understand well how to deal with them. So let's go back to their default value, and here we have light map. So I can use a light map. I can create my light map by using another radial gradient. And plug it into light map. Once again, the radial gradient is a rectangle, so let's make it a square by changing its text resolution. And also I've noticed, you can see those 4 dots. I've noticed that if I put this radial gradient in the top left corner, I get a more pleasing render. So let's put the minus, and it depends on your version maybe. So don't focus on those values, focus on the way on putting your radial gradient on the top left corner. So maybe I want some colors. So instead of black here, I will put a transparent value, and I will use another linear gradient like this. Once again, I prefer square textures. And change the colors. Let's use a preset, right click on gradient, my favorite preset, and change the interpolation to linear. And we change the rotation. And now if I change the width, this. So now if I offset, I can, or maybe I need to activate repeat. Yeah. So now when I change the offset, I can go from one color to another, smooth transition. But this doesn't look like the render from Fake North video, and that's why I use steps. These steps, we need to use it. So let's add a blend with mask to the fake light and use the steps as mask. Let's pin blend with mask, and now we get this render with a transparent background because we didn't connect anything on image B. So I will use a linear gradient again for image B. Change the rotation. Something like this. It's okay. I can play with my linear gradient. Also my radial gradient here, it doesn't look very good because we are going from white to a transparent black. So I need a transparent white. So let's set it to white and then make it transparent. Now the transition is much more beautiful. We can play with the shade of fake light, also amount. There's also twist. So you can have fun with all those parameters. I will set it like this. So if you use a solid color as background for our radial gradient, let's use another linear gradient. And let's remove one color. Let's make it like this. Maybe all blue. We get this. So now you can spend the night dealing with all the parameters and try to get different results. I think also specular light is nice. The specular reduce this value, it's interesting. You can also play with the direction. Oh, looks nice. So now we have our nice blobby background. With bubbles mixed, blending together in a nice way. You can play with all the parameters of every operators. So now let's play with text. Let's add some text. I put the text on 3 lines. Increase its size to 300. Use a render target. And here I can take all of those until the render target. So my first render target, I will select it, then hit tab to add blend. And now I will connect my text, render target for text, to it. Now my beautiful swarm of dots has disappeared. So I will set the blend mode of the blend to screen. And now we get this. You can change the line height of the text, but the text looks a bit boring. So I can also add a blur after the render target of the text. Increase the size to 2. It's a bit more fun. And to make the text moving, waving, I will use a quad mesh. Plug it into Draw Mesh Unlit. Draw Mesh Unlit. Then I will connect my text render target to it and create a new render target and connect this render target to the blur. Now our text is too small and stretched. It's because of the quad mesh, because here we have a rectangle texture and the quad mesh is a square. So let's stretch the quad mesh to some values. Here I use those values in order to match to the aspect ratio 16:9. And I can increase the scale of the quad mesh in order to fill the screen like this. This is totally up to you. And here, after the quad mesh, I can add displace mesh noise and animate the displace mesh noise by animating the fade. So I go here, I click on this, I click here and add time. And now our text is starting to move. Maybe I can hide my dots. If I make color A black, the dots are disappearing. But the way the text is moving is not that interesting, and this is because the quad mesh has only 2 segments, only one. So let's add more segments. So let's follow the aspect ratio. And now our text is moving like it's floating on some water, I don't know. It's more fun. Let's reorganize everything. If I go back to blend and change the color of color A, I can bring back the dots. You can also play with the blend mode. Do something like this. Don't hesitate to try every blend mode. Let's go back to screen. And remember, by changing the value, the color of the blend of the image, you can do some transitions like this. So this looks interesting. There's one last thing that we can do is adding another blend at the end and use our blurred text. Oops. Sorry. So let's use our blurred text in this blend. Let's spin it. And now we see we need to change the blend mode to difference. And now if I change the color of image B, we can get some different results. So like this, it looks cool. And voila. Have fun.